So next weekend is the final day of the Premier League. But before we get to that, we have three massive games to come still. We've got two midweek games on the Tuesday. Chelsea home to Spurs, and then Bournemouth home to Man City. And Arsenal host Burnley tonight. Now, of course, if Arsenal are to win tonight, and City are to fail to beat Bournemouth tomorrow night, I believe it is, then Arsenal will be crowned champions before the final day. But if City do find a way to get their win, then whatever happens, they'll take it down to the final day. But as long as Arsenal win tonight, even if City win, they'll have it in their hands on the final day. Now, as for Spurs, Spurs find themselves in a very, very good position in terms of that relegation battle, in terms of that 17th and 18th battle. All they need to do now, really, is get a point from the last two. Away at Chelsea, home to Everton, a draw will be enough. With the goal difference gap between them and West Ham, a draw will be enough. A win or 2 points obviously would guarantee it, but West Ham need them to lose both now and then need to beat Leeds on the final day to stand any chance. Yesterday really felt like it could have been the final nail in the coffin for them. So Chelsea and Spurs, always a great game, always a game that whenever it's played under whatever circumstances, it can always be a really entertaining, really kind of really intense derby. It can always be that type of match. But there is something big at stake here. If Spurs are going to go down, then the only way that can happen really is if they lose here. Now, how up for this game will this Chelsea side be? I think it's hard to tell from a Chelsea perspective. I think the cup final was absolutely gutting. So disappointed about that, obviously, and we're carrying the disappointment of that coming into this. However, sometimes that can fire a team up, but the hard thing for us is have we really got that much to fight for? It's hard to tell. The European race is so tight. There's a chance, obviously, we can still finish in Europe, but are they going to be that up for it? Champions League's beyond us now. They were playing a Tottenham side that just need a draw to get over the line, and they'll be right up for this, I think. However, we have got such a good record against Spurs at Stamford Bridge. Whatever the circumstances are, even in the really bad seasons Chelsea have had, we usually always find a way to get the win at Stamford Bridge against Spurs. They've only had one win in 35 years or something like that at Stamford Bridge, so it's very rare that does happen, but it does feel like a real opportunity for Spurs to get something on the board. Bear in mind, all they need is a draw, and then they can relax going into the final day, I think it's fair to say. We do also have the news of Alonso, Xabi Alonso now being the new Chelsea manager, which is very good. I'm very pleased about this. I've done a new whole video about that went up yesterday. If you'd be interested in that, where I'll talk a bit more about Alonso, and we'll talk a bit more just about that situation as a whole. But could this fire the team up a bit? Got a new manager now. Could this be a chance to actually just, I don't know, will it be a relief for the team to know that they've got someone new coming in next season that's done now? I'm not sure. I think it's hard to say. And to be honest, I think because of our good record against Spurs at Stamford Bridge, but because of what they've got to play for as well, and the fact that we just don't seem to be winning games at all at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a draw. I could see it being a draw, to be perfectly honest, and I think that, to be honest, that gives Spurs the point. I think they'll be happy with that. Bear in mind, that's pretty much them safe. That'll be them safe. Not mathematically, but realistically it would be them safe. So I could see that, to be honest. As for the other game, I could also see a draw in Bournemouth and City, to be honest. Although I wouldn't be surprised if City do get the win, just to take it to that final day. However, Bournemouth, seriously good team. They're seriously good this season. The top six finish is looking within reach now, and if they can get a result here, they've got every chance to do it on the final day. So I could see a draw in this one as well. I think I wouldn't be surprised, but Arsenal, I imagine, will beat Burnley tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if they're crowned champions going into the final day, seeing as I think City have got a very, very hard fixture here. They are, of course, the new FA Cup champions now. They've done a cup double now this season. And seeing as this has been a bit of a transition year for them as well, I think they've been very, very impressive, actually. And I think they've kind of dealt with it really well. And I think they've come into form towards the end of the season. And looking back at it, it's only really an Everton game where they might have blown it. They'll be kicking themselves over that. However, they have still got a chance here. If they could get it down to that final day, then you never know. But it is going to be tough from this position now, I think. But Bournemouth, definitely a team to watch as well. Definitely could be getting that top 6 place. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these games pan out. Obviously, from a Chelsea perspective, I'm really hoping we get a win in this game, and just keep that good record going we've got against Spurs at Stamford Bridge. But even winning this fixture, even winning the fixture we usually always win, but we've got such a good history, and it's hard to see that happening because of the fact we just don't seem to be winning any games. It's been so long since we won a game. That said, I want to get a win before we finish the season. Of course, we don't want to be going into next season off of this for a run of 8 or 9 Premier League games without a win. It would just be unbelievable. Well, we have got Alonso coming in now. Like I said, I think he's exciting. I think, especially if you look at the comments that have been said by his owners, that they're going to give him more of a say in the transfers, and he's going to have a much more of a bigger say in all that side of things than the previous managers have had. And this is the overall feeling, really, that this is probably the best appointment. Well, it is the best appointment of a manager that Blueco have made so far by a long way in their time in running the club. And I think most people have agreed on that. It makes much more sense than a lot of the previous managers they brought in. He also plays a back three as well, which is interesting. A lot's been made of that. I think that could work with us. Bear in mind we play with wing backs. We've got Reece James, we've got Cucurella. Could he really bring the best out of them? I hope so. Back to the other game though. Man City absolutely need to win. If they don't win, then it probably won't go to the final day. I mean, we'll know for a definite of that after tonight's game. You can't count any points till you got them on the board, of course. But I think it's worked out very well for Arsenal here. 2 wins and they're guaranteed to be champions now, and they're 2 games they should win. Away at Palace on the final day. City have got an Aston Villa side that have secured Champions League football now, with the result on Friday, and Friday, and then we'll be prepping for the Europa League final as well on the final day. Whereas Arsenal go to a Palace side that will be preparing for the Conference League final. Actually, I think the Europa League final might be this week. Actually, I'm not sure. Actually, I'll check that out. But either way, I don't either have just played it or just going into it. So I think both of them fancy the chances to win on the final day. However, I think Bournemouth is still one of the toughest tests for City. I mean, the unbeaten run they're on is just incredible, and I'd love to see them in Europe. Actually, I'd love to see Bournemouth get into Europe. So I think this is going to be interesting. These midweek games, I think it's really going to shape the way the final day goes. It could still be a case of teams it's all still to play for on that final day. We could still see Spurs still and West Ham still battling out on the final day, and even City and Arsenal still battling it out on that final day. But it all depends how the results go this week. 3 big games to shape the picture on the final day. I'm looking forward to seeing how this pans out.